we got 90s calling in on his Nextel from the Gulf, and we got Bird and Bender up in Tulsa. We got Tom Joad sitting there in his office in San Antonio, and we got Scott Leesburg going to grab another beer. What's going on, Birdman?
Nothing, dog. What's up?
I am sitting out in the bed of my truck right now, down in South Texas. Just landmanning to the max.
Where in South Texas are you?
Right outside of Dilley.
Okay.
So the ranch is about 20 minutes from where we have one of our fracks going on right now. So I ran out there this morning to check on everything, and you know, it's just amazing how fucking stupid the water people are down here.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I posted a picture on Instagram. They set the coffins for one of our crossings on the two 12-inch lines and never bolted down the other side of it. So when they pressured up the line, they basically just turned it into a stunt ramp.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How's
What those guys get paid and the skill required, I feel like that's a big arbitrage in service company businesses.
Yeah, I mean, some of those guys are making like $8 an hour. It's pretty fucking wild. And I mean, I get a call from a landowner and they go, yeah, man, this guy took a shit right in the middle of the road. Well, he's only making $8 an hour, so what do you really want me to do? Like, we can't afford a porta potty if he's only making $8 an hour.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
I think the guys driving their trucks make like 18 starting off, and if you stay with the company for like 5 years, you make like 20 an hour.
Okay.
But
that's better than McGovco.
That's better than what?
McGovco.
I mean, how much did you make on that deal, Scott?
What's that?
Oh, I'm asking Cheeseburg.
Oh,
His McGovco salary. What was your salary there?
Barely nothing. Is for experience, which now I'm trying to make my own deal and kind of got my feet wet in how to do that.
Did he at least teach you how to throw a football?
Yeah. Actually, I'm the one that got him that football that he would use in all those videos.
He uses the fuck out of that football, dude.
It's got an arm. Never doubt
throwing the pigskin.
But yeah, he's fun. You should go if you're ever in his area. Go fishing with him. Lake Corpus Christi. He's got a little lake house there.
I don't think he drinks enough to go fish with me.
I mean, he's cool with you drinking. Like last time I went fishing with him, I took a 6-pack of Yingling and I finished the whole thing after like an hour. And he's like, "Oh, Scott, you look like you're having a good time there."
You're a fucking rebel.
And he doesn't mean that in like, oh, you better slow down. He's like, hey, you're having a good time. That's good. So,
brought to you by Petroleum. Hey, WTX, what are you doing? Where are you driving at?
I'm at the yard in Barstow. Put out some mat for a shop, and then the secretary has a step ladder for my eyes. Still grinding away. You hunting camp this weekend?
I guess you could call it a hunting camp. We got a lot of guns. Don't do all that much hunting, but you know, I do a lot of shooting. Hey, quick question for all of you guys out there. Strike, the service company, I guess, filed for bankruptcy, and I guess is having all of their assets put up for auction. And they have a yard just down the highway at 35 from the ranch here outside of Dilley. And all of their equipment got moved to the auction secure storage facility over in like Pearsall. But I understand Strike is actually, they've got quite a few other branches and locations and everything. Do they have Strike out where you are, WTX?
Yeah, they're pretty big. When I was with the big midstream 10 or 15 years ago, not necessarily what it was, but the bigger symbol behind it. Anyways, there's the symbol of officers of the company were registered, and like officers also attract. That's about the time that they took off of that particular weekend in East Texas, and they ended up being our preferred vendor. Like they called them for either we could either the base or call them y'all are pretty big out here. They weren't the big, the big started.
It kind of sounds like you're talking underwater, man.
Let me get off my phone and I'll call back.
Hey, we have them in the refineries over here on the Gulf Coast, over here around Houston to Beaumont.
So I mean, that's a pretty big deal during an oil boom to declare bankruptcy, isn't it? I don't know. That just seemed really strange to me.
Well, how do you make more money during a boom? You get rid of your debt.
I mean, yeah, but I think most of those companies kind of did that last year. So I don't know. Kind of seems like an odd time to do that. But if anybody's in the market for new equipment, they're selling off a hell of a lot of shit right now.
Should start a service company.
I don't really want to start a service company. I'd rather start the largest oil and gas media company in the world.
There you go. You're out there yet?
The parties.
Got some stiff competition, man.
I mean, it's fucking cutthroat. They have pirate flags and everything, man. Hey, buddy, where are you headed? Did you forget to bring beers to the office?
Me and the boss man are going to grab some beer.
You know, the intern's on his way up there right now.
Is he really?
The office?
To the office?
No. Well, I think he's actually in Tulsa.
Oh, okay. Well,
I guess he already got there because he texted and said he was hanging out with his nephews.
Okay. Well, I'll text him. I don't know whereabouts he's at.
I think he's up there, like, you know, picking up some more shit to take down to San Antonio or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll text him, see if he'll come over or whatever. Yeah, we're just getting a little beer run here.
You know, if you hire me as an intern, you'll never have to do that again. You always have a full beer fridge.
Oh. Yeah.
Are you willing to relocate for that job, Scott?
I would love to live in Oklahoma. I'm not a fan of Houston.
Really?
I will constantly stroke BRV's ego and talk shit about Houston. I'll be the perfect candidate.
You ought to send in your resume, man.
I think I have. I'm pretty sure I have.
It's on file.
We actually
It's on
we
file.
don't have a geologist on staff. That's one of our rules.
All the more reason.
We don't hire
We don't
full
hire
time.
geologists.
Okay, well, what if it wasn't on staff? What if it was just an internship? A permanent internship.
A permanent internship, that might work.
Mhm.
Okay.
Unpaid though, that's how we do that.
I mean, that's basically the same thing that he was doing at McGovco, right?
I mean, it's getting paid a little bit, but it's
Some beer money.
basically.
Hey Scott, what kind of override if you put your project together? Is there a percentage that he takes, or do you get like all the dibs get a point or two, or how does he do that?
Yeah, well, look, a lot of like geologists that generate prospects in general, you try to get a couple points overriding royalty interest on your deal.
Yeah.
Like I have another guy from Sipes, and I have a contract with him, and he gave me like some seismic surveys and basically data, and I'm working on coming up with a prospect. And
Yeah.
if I find something, he'll give me a cash bonus depending on how many acres is leased.
Yeah.
And then royalty interest depending on what the land owners, like if it's a 20% to the landowners,
Okay.
I'll get 2%. But if it's like a quarter lease, I'd only get 1.
Yeah. Well,
So
I'm saying, what did Jay do for you guys in that department?
kind of the same thing with what I did with Jay. There's the 2% royalty,
Mhm.
and then I got a little bit of sales commission, but I'm not rolling in the dough. So
Gotta get that commish, baby.
You can call me a little bitch, but I'm just trying to do what I can to stay out of the field again.
Dude, being out in the field is where all the fun happens.
I know. I was tired of being everyone's bitch mudlogger.
I mean, I quit my job in November, and I'm still out here.
Yeah, well, I spent a lot of time out in Chickasha. That was my second home for about 1.5 years.
Out where?
Chickasha, Oklahoma.
Chickasha, Oklahoma. That is a very Oklahoma name.
So
Is that like east of Norman, kind of where the casino is?
it's west.
Oh, it's west. Okay.
It's southwest.
But it's not too far from Oklahoma City, right?
No, it's about an hour.
Yeah.
So, my days off, I would go into the city. But
I always forget that Jode lived in Oklahoma for, 10 years, 40 years ago.
I hear it was not quite 2. We moved to San Antonio in 2018. We couldn't leave fast enough. And we still laugh about, I know you know this, but my wife insists that I had accepted a job in Tulsa. I don't see it the same way. They tried to chingle me on, like basically I needed another week to get some stock at a marathon. I was like, yeah, no big deal. I'll just say like, hey, I'll accept, but I need another 10 days so I can get my stuff to vest. And he played hard ass, and so I was like, screw it, I'm not taking the job. But thank God I didn't take that job.
Yeah, that wouldn't have ended well. I mean, it would have ended.
Well, my boss, I think, got laid off like maybe 6 months later. And then to show you how bad things were in Tulsa, he went back to Unit. He had worked at Unit, then worked for your outfit. That's where I was going to work, and then got laid off there. Went back to Unit, got laid off again, And last I heard, he was independent. But he's like, man, it's been a tough go. And he's a local boy. I would have been out in the cold.
So we've got 2 rigs running down here right now, and it's kind of interesting. We just finished fracking 7 wells over in this area and moved the rigs off to other locations during the frack and all that. And rigs are back on very close leases. And apparently, due to our recent fracks, the ground is rather overpressured, and our drilling rigs are running a couple of weeks behind now because they keep losing circulation and having other issues related to too much pressure downhole.
Oh,
Amazing how that works, right?
yeah. Do you think you hear anything about them bringing in more rigs, or do you even have the capacity to do that?
We don't have the inventory to do that.
Yeah.
For drilling locations. We did bring on, we've got 2 frac crews running right now, which, we kind of alternate between 1 and 2 frac crews depending on what we have going on. But I guess that's an issue that everybody keeps running into with scheduling these service companies is fucking crazy. It's like, hey, if we're available right now and you don't take this job right now, we won't be back for 6 months,
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of stuff that goes on the schedule, and then we have a conference call and everybody's like, okay, well, we're going to move that 90 days up on the schedule, which it's really awesome when that 90 days up falls on next week. That's always fun. So it's kind of one of those deals where I guess you gotta make hay while the sun shines.
But those guys are just it's their time. It's everybody's time to shine, but the service companies got so beat down. I'm sure they're just reveling in this.
I mean, I think prices are still pretty suppressed with those guys.
I don't know. I'm starting to hear some bubbling up about issues.
Well, but I guess nobody can find workers, so.
Well, that does that. You're right. That kind of keeps it suppressed a little bit.
Maybe if you have guys available, you do get to charge the premium. Are you seeing anything like that out there in West Texas, WTX?
A little bit. It's not crazy yet. Where even the roustabout companies are charging per diem, but it's on specialized services. It's you're going to pay a premium. We've got some welders running in the shop right now, and the contractors are so short-handed that I walk in the shop and of course there's Mexican music playing and stuff, and it's all fun. And I go up and talk to him, and the guy doesn't speak a lick of English, and I'm in my mind I'm like, why don't these guys learn English? And I finally get one that speaks a little broken English, and I'm like, where y'all from? They're like, oh yeah, we're from Monterey. We're all from right around Monterey. Shit, we're not even using, we're so short-handed in West Texas now that a good portion of the workforce, stainless steel welders coming out of Mexico, coming out of factories and stuff in Mexico. So
gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, no, not talking, not speaking disparagingly about anything or any of that situation. It's just kind of brings everything full circle, right? You gotta understand the labor market.
No, I mean it's pretty wild all over the place. I'm amazed that we're able to keep our rigs and frac crews fully staffed right now because I mean, like, with our water transfer guys, shit, they've had so many people that are quitting and just collecting their government check now, and have no desire to go back to work for $8 an hour, which I can't blame them. But at the same time, if these guys are still able to put anybody on a job at $8 an hour, why are they going to raise their prices?
Yeah, and I think we touched on this a little bit last week, right? It's like why would you go to work for, like, even Walmart has a $15 an hour minimum wage now. Walgreens $15 an hour minimum wage. Like, what? Why would you go work along with the rattlesnakes and the heavy equipment for $8, $10 an hour?
Because it gets the adrenaline pumping.
You're a real oil man.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I can drink 3 tall boys between Vegas and Odessa.
Yeah. I had to have lunch with the owner of the water transfer company we used yesterday to, once again reiterate to him that his guys are fucking everything up. And I told him that I was just waiting to see him out in the field throwing lines and, hooking up connections and all that other shit. And he said he had just gotten back from there. But the problem was they picked up 3 other clients in the last 2 years. And so they're spread out all over South Texas. We used to be the only game they had, I used to call and they used to actually go do shit. And now I call and they say, call somebody else. Oh shit. Bender's got a headset on. Hey Bender, y'all have that game going again? Oh, no, lost him. Switching it up. Hey Clint, are you there? Well. Clint's probably like drinking a pitcher of margaritas or something right now.
Yeah, I think that's the blender running, is what we're hearing.
I mean, everybody thinks Landman party harder than anybody else, but I don't know, Clint, those geologists get after it. Oh, there he is. What's up, dude?
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Sure can.
All right, I was talking before, and no margaritas yet. There's time.
What about old fashions?
I was just about to say that.
Nope. Check out the table here. We got nothing. I mean, we got wine for later, but
you should have a nice obsidian stout to be a real geologist.
God, if I had one of those, I would not eat for like a weekend.
they
so
are
rich.
Are you saving yourself for something tonight, Clint?
What?
Are you saving yourself for something tonight?
No, I'm actually like still doing work, which is like the worst part.
Dude, it's past 4 o'clock.
Oh, I know. I've been on the phone since like 1, so it's great.
All right.
These deals don't source themselves. EFT's got to find me a damn deal to go buy and drill on.
Are y'all working together now?
EFT?
Oh, I thought you said BSB.
No, just general EFT needs to find me a deal. That's all.
How come you can't get in on any of that Maverick action?
Do you want in on the Maverick action? That's probably a better question.
You were just saying you wanted some deals.
Yeah, I want deals that I want to own though, and that's like different.
I'd say I have prospects, but I already know I'm standing enough with them.
The quarter-inch stainless. Don't want anybody to know about that.
Layman life, were you looking at some strike property up for liquidation? That what you were talking about earlier?
No. Some of the other service companies that we utilize are trying to pick up new equipment just because with supply chain issues right now, you can't get parts to fix anything. So it's kind of one of those things where they might be looking to cannibalize parts off of some other shit, you know?
Yeah, maybe a Chinese service company would have to like buy the whole fleet and export it.
I mean,
Yes.
what CNOOK bought all of that shit from EOG down here, right? So who knows?
Looks pretty good.
Are the Tulsa guys playing that spinny game again?
What spinny game?
Y'all had some kind of drinking game going a couple of months back on here.
Oh, it was just King Oil.
King Oil, the board game.
The board game King Oil from like 1975.
You still have it here, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Y'all were gonna send us a board set to have down at our office, but never showed up.
I'll check the tracking number on that.
So how are things going up in Oklahoma? Are y'all seeing the same shit with shortages on people and materials up there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. Got a bid for 4.5 casing used, $10. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, maybe y'all need to talk to Kitty.
I think Kitty was higher.
Kitty's always higher.
Kitty takes his little catnip piece of it all the time. So,
I mean, do y'all think that at some point in time, the shortages on people and materials is going to start getting factored in on some of these deals? Because people are still buying and selling and trading and all of that, but you know, if you're buying something that has obligations, deadlines and things like that, it's going to be pretty difficult to meet those obligations when you know that there's not going to be crews available for the work that you need to get done.
Oh, yeah.
and I don't think you can solve it by just throwing crazy numbers like we'll pay you $100 an hour to come to work. I don't even think that solves it.
I mean, that rig guy said, I mean, in Oklahoma, on these shallow little rigs, you don't have to pay people very much usually. But he was saying they used to pay $20 an hour, and now they're offering 31 for a pusher, and they couldn't hire anybody.
Still can't find it.
There used to be like 27 rigs running in Osage County, and now there's like 6 or something like that.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We're talking workover rigs, 27 to 6.
Yeah.
One of the problems too is that if you're incorporating the shortage, like price increases and personnel increases into your bids when you're trying to buy stuff, like if you have an asset, that's one thing. If you're trying to like go out and like buy stuff and then incorporate that in there, you're going to lose the deal if it's a marketed process, right? If you're going to go in and factor in like DNC plus 10 to 15%, or you know, kind of doing a more measured type development, you're not going to win the deal, like regardless. So if you kind of,
you gotta run it, you got to run it at $150 oil, and you're all good, man.
Of course.
Factor all that in, and then run $150 oil. Buy everything.
$12 natty.
That's what we've been doing.
You know, just add that 33% growth up and to the right, baby.
Yeah, dude, the wedge.
But see, hey guys, this is where I like bounce in. Like I'm kind of wanting higher
higher oil prices, but at the same time, there's a dampening effect on my refining margins if y'all do that. So let's keep it somewhere in the middle. How about 110, 100? How's that sound?
I think 112
10.
sounds divine.
What's the highest it's ever been? What's that number?
Gas?
No, oil. What's the top? 128.
No, it hit 150 in
Did it? Okay.
2008.
It was 2008, right? It
Eight.
was like beginning of 2008. It was like 150, 160 for like a second.
Yeah, I thought it was like 140 something was like a steady like monthly close.
I was also in high school then, so pretty close.
Man,
I'm
I wish I
excited
was
to
that
see
young.
what I'm excited to see what refining products get up to. I mean, we talk about gasoline and costs and stuff, but I mean, we've shut down a whole lot of refining capacity in the United States. I don't care what they say about China sending shit over here. We keep stirring stuff up across the other pond over there. I don't know. You might be stuck with what you got in America or what you can get.
Actually, going back to that interesting story, it wasn't the beginning of 2008. It was the summer of 2008 because I was interning at Apache and we were in the same building as Sim Group. And we literally, me and my coworker, we were both interns and we pulled up from lunch, me and Chase Summers.
Yeah.
We pulled up from lunch, no shit, and watched security escort Tom Cavisto, the CEO, founder of Sim Group. Remember when they blew up? Like, he had like a special spot in the front. You don't remember Sim Group's blow up? They were like the 4th largest private company in the nation. They were in Tulsa. And they were short oil, basically running all the way up to like 150. And we like went to lunch and got sandwiches and we came back and they literally were escorting him out, security, with like boxes of his shit. And they like threw it into his Bentley because he had a special spot in the front of the building. And he like fucking peeled off and like took off. And we were like, holy shit, what did we just see? And sure as shit, they were like short oil and fucking blew up that day. It was pretty wild.
And then he went on to found WeWork.
Now he's in he's in Bitcoin now. He's in crypto guy now.
Of course he's in
He's a
Bitcoin
fucking
now.
crypto guy. I'm not even
Oh,
kidding.
my God.
Like, I'm dead ass serious.
He's a
a
super
goddamn
coin guy.
Yeah,
Fucking run far away.
he's good friends with
great.
Jackie Artie, is what I heard.
Yeah, did the crash happen in October of 2008? That's when the subprime mortgage.
When the yeah,
because
housing.
they were short oil, and so it had kept running up, and that was probably July, August. You know, like it hadn't crashed yet. Yeah. Well, no, I mean he was like a reversion to the mean trader, so he would always like trade as it went up, and his whole thing was you incrementally short more and more and more as it goes up and up, and it just kept going up. He got like Gabe talking, you know, and just blew the fuck up. Lost like 3 or 4 billion. And their company fucking blew up. He went from Tulsa Man of the Year to like his picture on the front page with his like woman that he was having an affair with, and like all this shit just got smeared. Well, the KU football stadium is still named Cavisto Field. It's like
for losers. For the loser football.
Yeah.
So when we surpassed the all-time high for oil prices, I know that everybody's been talking about federal regulations and shit like that, and Biden keeps trying to keep oil prices low because of midterm elections and everything. There's not really anything that he can fucking do. He's already tried to do whatever he can, which is nothing.
He's got some help from a judge over the last couple of days. So that the offshore.
Yeah, but at the same
That's
time,
negative.
like that
Negative
was something that wasn't going to be in production for a long time.
He moved gasoline 2 fucking cents by dumping the reserve. Like,
Nailed it.
fucking.
And I mean,
It's just a
China's
snowball.
fucking laughing their asses off at the whole thing.
But
It's
everyone
just a
that's on
snowball
this
effect.
is going to vote for Biden.
I'm a big
There's
Biden
no
supporter
way
at this point.
He's not going to win the next term. I'm voting for him. Everybody should vote for him. Love Democrats. Beautiful. He bought my vote. PPP this out of some stuff.
Let's go, Brandon.
Fucking love the
That's
guy.
right. I love it.
You-
Shut the oil field down. Let's go.
Man,
One
y'all
more
sound like me and Bohr now. We're all 100% for Biden. We've never made so much money.
Fucking love it. It's amazing.
Well, what'll be interesting too is for the offshore lease sales, now that all that shit's been canceled, right? Strip pricing and probably appetite for exploration is a lot higher now than it was like when the sale happened, right? Which was what, a couple months ago. So
Wasn't that like
yeah,
October?
if that order ends up being reversed and they have to like redo the sale, now that everyone's kind of showed their hands as to what was, so essentially like, do you just go back to reenacting the existing sale, or do you go back and have a fresh one where everyone knows what everyone wants type deal? I'd be
Does anybody
curious.
know? Like, I saw that it was the environmental modeling was done wrong according to this judge, but does anybody know the details of what they're actually saying was incorrect on their modeling?
Yeah, they didn't factor in enough of the foreign consumption for global warming, is what they said.
Oh, because
Foreign
yeah,
consumption of the produced oil wasn't factored in for global warming calculations.
No, it was the rigs having to be built and then the ocean having to be hauled in and built around it. That's what actually is.
I mean, this is true.
What did this dude
You
just
do
say?
have to build the ocean after you build the rigs.
That's right. I found a deal on Instagram. Somebody
How
was
else could you build the rigs?
talking back and forth.
What is
on
that? What is that like? What is that? Michael Swain in the corner?
He's
Biden.
just commenting
Oh.
on Facebook.
Oh, you can get on Facebook and comment
It's
on
on
here.
Facebook and YouTube. Right?
Oh, that's interesting.
But I found this deal on Instagram. It's like offshore drilling rigs, and someone said, "How do they even get these out there? What do they do?" And the person commented,
With the secular peak of oil demand because of electric vehicles, oil has peaked. We're not getting above 90.
"Yeah, General Motors sold what 26 electric vehicles. They're gonna take us down."
Yeah, they're going to be all electric by 2035, though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Bentley came out. Was it Bentley, or Rolls Royce, or one of them that they're going to be 2030 all
Yeah.
electric,
They're gonna go quicker. Yeah.
all electric.
Because that's like 0.0% of all the fucking cars in the world.
It's like if you look at.
But
if
who
you look
thinks
at,
they're
like,
actually going to do that? That's my problem, though. By 2030 or 2050, I mean, they could throw all these numbers out, but I just don't think they're going to be there.
Yeah, I can't remember which exact resource it was, like cobalt or one of lithium, maybe, or one of them. But it was like if 5% of the vehicles in the world converted to electric, then all known reserves in the entire world would be consumed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's just not even like
Fact.
feasible.
Science.
It's
Science.
ridiculous. Honestly, it's the best thing that could happen to the oil business, because if you're going to distract everybody with this bullshit, that this is how you're going to get rid of oil, then you're not doing things that could actually have an impact, like build nuclear power plants. Or like there's a way to actually create economic power, displace natural gas. It works. And so spend all your time building some bullshit technology like a solar panel that doesn't do a damn thing. And
then you could actually charge your EVs with nuclear and cut the oil consumption down.
Yeah, and even if Bentley does go all electric, who gives a shit?
who gives a shit?
Who gives a fuck?
There you go.
Yeah,
My other problem is the solar cells as well as the wind farms. I'm curious just the longevity of some of the stuff that they're installing. I just don't think they're. I'm kind of like, show me. Let me see it in 10 years and see if it's still working. Because I have, people that live around me, neighbors and stuff, getting solar panels. And I live down in the hurricane area. I'm like, that's just going to rip off a roof. I'm just not there yet.
Well, those large solar farms. So the large solar farms, we have a little bit of insight into them, and they basically they make money off the tax credits to re-glass. So they actually change ownership hands depending on when they need to be re-glassed for the tax credits, and that's actually what it is, if I understood it.
Yeah, you sell it back and forth between the same parties. So it's like party A sells a solar panel to B, B sells to A simultaneously. They re-glass, and when you sell and re-glass, you get a new tax credit. Boom. So it's like you bought it from scratch. And so basically they just start trading these things back and forth between the parties to recreate the tax credit over and over. Then you have to reglass them, which is like every 7 or 8 years. Or it's you rechip them every 7 years, and every 14 years you reglass them or
Yeah,
something
there's
like
some.
that.
So what you're saying is that you hope that the political winds are still in your favor when it's time to reglass.
That's it. That's how you.
Oh
make
God, that's a risk. Woo, that's too much risk for me.
I mean, fair enough. I think if you pull subsidies out of it, then you're like a 25 to 30 year payout if you assume that you don't reglass it.
And you
So
just
when
can't.
you do reglass it and when you do have to add the chips and change the chips, then it's like it literally never pays out. Like never happens. It's insane. I mean, so you have to have the subsidies, which welcome to the 21st century, I guess. But it's still it's just. And at the end of the day, when you really look at it and like the quantity that it requires, what actual output of the factories are, what it takes to install them, blah blah blah, the materials, time, etc. It's just like it's not even like you can't even scratch the surface. Like you can't even like think of it as an impactful addition to the energy production of the United States. It's not even like worth even discussing. Like solar panels are a joke. Like
So,
completely.
but my biggest part, BRV, is that I don't think it's a good use of capital because of just like some of the things you tell me. I've already been skittish, but you already telling me what the payback could be. And who knows what the market will be in 15, 20 years for that. It just to me looks like Shell was. It's like they're going to vaporize a bunch of capital. That the capital return isn't there. Am I crazy?
No, I mean,
But I wouldn't say policy is going to go backwards.
no.
If anything, there's going to be more pressure to go forward. So it's actually probably not a bad investment. They'll just keep playing the game, and the game will get stronger. Right?
You give them
make
$6
sense.
gasoline, and that policy will change. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. They get crazy.
It'll make sense when the government steps in and starts subsidizing. And again, spot on. It doesn't make any sense at all when you're consuming 10-cent kilowatt electricity at your home. But when it becomes 25 and 30 cents, when we become freaking Europe, that 30-year payout starts to look like 10 years for real. And then you're like, well, maybe it does make sense. You throw a subsidy and a tax credit on top of a 10-year payout, and I might throw a solar panel on my house.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it won't do a fucking thing except make my roof look ugly, but I'll do it.
Right.
Get my credit.
Well, and then somebody comes in and puts a nuclear reactor close by, and next thing you know, there goes the kilowatt hour pricing.
Yeah.
Well, to your point on the house looking ugly, I mean, you live in Tulsa, so you don't have to tell us twice.
Burn.
This guy lives Houston or something?
Houston.
Oh, yeah.
In the swamp.
Eat your beef jerky steak, brother.
Hey, I got one for you.
Swamp, bro. What's that?
I got one for you.
Yeah.
So hydrogen. I've heard recently, and I don't know the numbers to quantify it, but hydrogen has more energy mass or energy concentration than any other fuel there is. And hydrogen kind of baffles me because I think it's a fucking scam because it doesn't occur naturally on Earth. But
it occurs naturally in the sun.
Sure, we're a long ways from there, right? I guess solar is hydrogen power. I don't know. Listening to a project listening to something on YouTube yesterday, a project that Shell had, and it said that that gasoline has 4 times the energy mass of hydrogen, and I'm still so confused on why hydrogen is a motor vehicle fuel, even being considered a motor vehicle fuel, because it's an unstable fuel to begin with, right? That's why it doesn't occur naturally on fuel, because as soon as you release it into the atmosphere, it just does something, it combines with something else, and it's over.
Yeah.
Will hydrogen ever be anything for us? Is it a viable motor fuel in anybody's opinion? Wouldn't the railroads be using it?
You're probably more likely to see nuclear powered stuff, would be my guess. Trains, semis, you can't power semis with batteries, electric. That doesn't work.
Well,
Weights don't work.
I mean, hydrogen, from what I've read and understand, the problem with hydrogen, and it sounds petty, but it's apparently the problem, is you have to have a really high air fuel mixture. And so when you like have to like literally just suck, you like put like 80% air. And so then like you look at a combustion engine and it's like the rapidness of the pistons firing,
You can't
etc.
keep up with
You
it.
can't literally pull enough air into the engine.
Some big ass
And so
supercharger or something to suck it in.
it still doesn't work. It just doesn't. And so then like you end up with these like super inefficient burns, and like you can't like, and it burns hot. And so it's like it burns hot, it's inefficient, and you can't get enough air in it, the air fuel
So you don't
mixture.
have a long-lasting motor.
And the motor, so the motor breaks. And so like that's where they get into these like Stirling engines, right? Or you have to get into this like other technology to like use the hydrogen to convert it into energy besides like a standard piston driven. You know, that's like the genesis of that problem. So like that's, you know, problem one or problem 500. But the other biggest deal is like, how do you create hydrogen? It's like hydrolysis is insanely energy intensive, right? Like it doesn't work. And so like, I mean, there's just no way to take, I mean, it's hilarious. If you look at the number one way they create hydrogen is literally taking natural gas and taking the hydrogen out of natural gas. And so you think about it, the energy in natural gas is from the hydrogen. So you're taking the hydrogen, denaturing it from the natural gas, using the pure hydrogen. But if you had just used the natural gas that you started with, the energy conversion was not there to turn it into hydrogen, then burn it, right? Because you could have burned it as natural gas. So
Atlas Shrugged solves this.
BRB, you're telling my secrets now in the refining industry. Shh, don't tell people that we're using that nat gas and stripping it like that. Shh.
I guess if you could take rather than combusting the natural gas and then you're releasing CO2, you know, carbon, you're releasing carbon monoxide, so
Plant food.
CO, right? If and also nitrous oxide. I guess if you could control that and like strip the carbon away from the hydrogen, and now you're left with the carbon, you could do something with that carbon. Even though it's incredibly energy inefficient to get that hydrogen away from that carbon, but like I guess that's the environmental advantage is now you have hydrogen as a fuel and then carbon as a product to go do something else with, right?
yeah, but
Graphite for
carbon's fucking
batteries.
cheap. I mean, that's the problem too. I
It's
think
abundant.
carbon is cheap. You know, what do we put in pencils? Fucking carbon. I mean, not, you know, not lead. You know, and it's because I mean it's there. I mean, what do you pay for a number 2 pencil at this point? 5 cents. I mean, it's tons of carbon, and you know, it takes so much energy to convert the hydrogen into a fuel, which is not very useful. It's hard to manage. It's hard to handle the pressure wise. Like you look at like transporting hydrogen in a pipeline, it's like it's just, I mean, it's flammable. It wants the amount of energy in it that just needs to expand. Like
Yeah, it embrittles steel.
It embrittles steel, exactly. I mean,
You know what solves the energy crisis for fuel in cars is everybody under the age of 18, 20 right now doesn't even want to fucking drive.
Mm-hmm.
These people don't even want to drive. They don't want to get a license. They just Uber Eats, they Amazon. That's probably, to be honest, what the real killer is everybody under the age of 20 is not even going to get a fucking driver's license.
I've got a cousin that didn't drive until she was 24 years old.
There you go.
Hey,
that's what's going to happen.
That's great.
This
Hey,
is the
hey,
important
BRB.
part.
Going back to the nat gas real quick. You know, once nat gas goes high enough, these chemical guys and those strippers, they're not going to be stripping that hydrogen out of it. Either that or hydrogen prices are going to go sky high. That's what I'm thinking in this next cycle, in the next 3 years or so.
What are they going to use the hydrogen for? Why? I
Say that
mean,
again?
what is it getting bid up on? Like, what are they? Who's
Bombs.
consuming it?
Bombs.
I mean, bombs.
Dropping
Sure.
bombs. Hell
I mean,
yeah.
there's
So-
no end user. There's no consumption for it.
Yeah,
Like,
but hydrogen is a byproduct of propylene, right? That you take propane and dehydrogenize it to make propylene, right? And that
Glycol?
like that. So I guess what I'm saying, what I'm saying is like there's always going to be waste hydrogen out there for someone to get rid of, as long as we have a chemical industry. So
and that's true. But right now, they are using, like he said, the stripping of the nat gas in order to give them the hydrogen. Once that number is calculated too high, they'll come back to naphtha or some other process to get the hydrogen they're looking for, whether for industry or for chemical making. But right now, we're using a lot of natural gas to strip in those steam crackers and stuff. Does that change the game and dump a bunch of nat gas back on the market? I can't figure that out at this point.
I mean,
Like, what
you
is
can't
that
be talking
price
about
split?
that much volume. I mean, what are we consuming? 130 BCF a day, 125 right now. I mean, we're consuming and producing like such an absolutely fucking insane amount of natural gas in this country, in this world. I mean, it's crazy. Like when you think, I mean, I remember when we worked at Chesapeake and they hit a BCF a day, and it was like, oh my fucking god.
We had 3 BCF parties.
Right.
Every B they threw a fucking party
Party.
with shrimp cocktails and all kinds of champagne and shit. And that
Yeah.
was just Chesapeake in one fucking field.
But now it's like you pull up like Earthstone and they make 300 million a day. You know, like everybody makes a fucking BCF. Like, goddamn, it's and shit. Like, there's such an obscene amount of gas being consumed, produced, and consumed in this country.
I remember those days. Like all right, we hit a BCF. Let's go rent Ralph and Cacoo's in Bossier City and fucking.
There we go. My boy knows. He
Yes,
knows where that
sir.
gator tail is. I like it. Oh yeah.
All right, so the question is, right, you think about gas production, how much of it is intentional, I am aiming for gas production, versus like it's incidental contact of like, hey, look, I'm going for oil wells in the Permian, right? And I'm making X amount of gas. What's the, I mean, did any of y'all know the split on that as far as, say, targeted gas versus incidental gas?
Associated, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I think the Permian's putting out 8 BCF a day right now, associated gas.
Right.
You know, obviously the Northeast is the big dog in the room in terms of like intentionally drilling gas wells for the sake of making gas, and then the Haynesville. I mean, yeah, but I mean, I think the interesting thing about the concept to me, like when you look at like the market and you say like, okay, the oil is a truly global commodity, truly, like there's not supply constraints. There's not like, sure, there's a $2 arb between Brent and WTI or something, you know, but like $2 to like say a product can be as efficient as having a $2 discount between Cushing, Oklahoma and like the North Sea. Like it's pretty impressive. Versus, you know, natural gas, of course, there will be a comfortable arbitrage between the Gulf Coast of the United States and Western Europe for the next decade. I mean, there's no way to export enough gas to make that mesh. And so, you know, I think, yeah, incidental matters. Like, but you think about all the oil wells that have been drilled in West Texas and you're putting out 8 BCF. It's like, and, you know, by the way, like, I think the whole state of Oklahoma is like 10 BCF. And I think we're like the 3rd or 4th biggest gas producing state. So it's like you just have 2 absolutely enormous gas fields in the Marcellus and the Haynesville, and they trump everything. That's all that to me really matters in the equation. But I think what is interesting, but not that interesting, is the fact that the East, you know, the Marcellus is, I mean, Cabot's out of locations, period. And, you know, their wells were the best. Those were, you know, 40 BCF wells or something insane, right? Like, so, you know, it's interesting that the market dynamic will switch, I think, between, you know, the Northeast and probably the Haynesville. Yeah, the Haynesville's got such an insane amount of drilling locations, and, you know, those wells that are coming on at 30, 40 million a day, and there's a lot of them drilled. So it's going to be, I don't know. I wouldn't bet on high gas prices for any duration, but that's just my opinion. If I was sitting there looking at a 40 million a day drilling location in the Haynesville right now at $5 gas, I wouldn't be sitting there. I'd be like calling my drilling rigs, like, come fucking drill this son of a bitch right now.
You just pick
like,
it up, get fucking 60 rigs running and go.
Let's
baby.
go.
Get
I
it.
mean, right? Yeah. You'd be stupid if you weren't. So
I thought Landman Life had an A&M hat on for a minute. I was like, what is this Joker wearing? But it's actually my favorite hat.
Yeah.
So
we've got
BRV,
a
will
lot
it be
more
an
of these
issue
on
of
the way.
You know,
So BRV, will it be a problem of location, or is it just there's going to be so much natural gas, whether it's bringing it in the Gulf Coast or sending it out?
We won't
That's
be
the
bringing
reason
it
we're
in for a
we're
long-
making chemical refineries. What's wrong?
We won't be bringing natural gas in for a long time. I mean, you know, the natural gas LNG takeaway capacity on the Gulf Coast right now is, I mean, it's set to grow slightly. I think 5 BCF a day or something in the next decade. But,
Well, but
you know,
without the pipelines, you're going to still have areas of the Northeast that are going to be importing LNG because they're fucking stupid.
from Trinidad and Tobago.
because does not the Transco line run from Gulf Coast to the East
It
Coast?
runs from Henry Hub, which is like southern Louisiana, up to Manhattan. It terminates in Manhattan.
So technically, you could take Haynesville gas and get it to New York.
There's no issue getting gas from the Gulf Coast to New York. The issue is like New York to Maine,
To the rest.
past it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Massachusetts and Pennsylvania, like
Right.
eastern Pennsylvania, New York State,
The state.
Connecticut, like all those places are fucking idiots. Like Long Island, the biggest arb of natural gas that I know of, at least, is going from Manhattan to Long Island because they will not let you lay a pipe across Long Island finally. So it's like reasonably priced, like, you know, Henry Hub plus 30 cents or 10 cents or whatever it is. I don't know, like Manhattan. And then as soon as you jump over to Long Island, it's like $12.
And you can
Like,
see the other
You
side.
literally, yeah. It's just like selling a barrel of oil in Oklahoma versus Kansas. In Oklahoma, it's $1 off. If you go to Kansas, it's $3. Whatever. Which I blame the Koch brothers for, by the way. It is their fault, actually. But that's one thing the libs maybe got right. It's the Koch brothers' fault on that one.
Kansas has the Koch brothers. Oklahoma has the Math brothers.
Yeah, I mean, Harold Ham liked to move oil with a different kind of truck. It's the water hauling truck. At least the Koch brothers picked it up with an oil hauler, you know?
So how often do you drill a well, BVR?
We're going to drill like
40,
35 this year.
And they're all kind of just shallow development wells.
Yeah, I mean, shallow, 2,000 foot, 2,500 foot type stuff. We don't do deep. Even though I did participate in the horizontal well the other day, it was the first in my life, and it
We want more.
actually went really well. Actually. It took me this long, but I finally got the horizontal bug.
That's how we know that the market's at the top, right?
That's what I said too. I was like, we know that there's a boom going on. I'm participating in horizontal wells now. Damn good well though. Newburn's got it going on.
So who's all coming in for Nate? Am I going to see you BRV or no?
Yeah, me and Scooter.
We're both coming.
Y'all gonna be there for the Tuesday before Nate starts?
No.
No, we're coming in Wednesday at 1 o'clock and we're leaving Friday at
10, 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Well, then you'll miss our party, but
You're having a party in Houston?
yeah, we do a Tuesday night party for the kickoff.
Dude, sorry, but 48 hours is max Houston time for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna leave Thursday morning.
Look, we know you can only eat so many shitty steaks, but come on, man. Only 48 hours?
I mean, I'd rather pick up a bag of beef jerky at Buc-ee's on the way. I mean, that's basically what you're doing when you go to fucking steakhouses in Houston, dude.
Get
Landman Life.
KP to drive you, and he'll supply all the beef jerky the whole way.
Who's that?
KP.
Oh, yeah, KP. I don't know if he's going today. I haven't asked him.
God, he would be a fucking animal at Nape.
I would refuse to hang out with him if he was there. I wouldn't fucking. I wouldn't hang out with that guy. Not at Nape. Nape's already too fucking crazy.
Stop by the Sipes booth Thursday, 1 to 3. I'll be managing that.
Sorry, dude. I don't actually go into Nape or into the
Mhm.
conference.
I don't expect anyone to stop by. I'm just saying that. I'm just glad to be able to get a free ticket being in Sipes.
There you go.
You know, it sounds like really childish and petty, but I have several times just walked straight through the door with no badge on and nobody said anything to me. I mean, or it's like, you got a friend that left, give me your badge and I'll walk in as, you know, Jimbo Stevenson.
Well, I'm an Aggie, so I'm kind of one of those honest guys. I'm not a cheat like an Oklahoma guy.
I mean, if you look at the price they charge to walk into the conference, I think that's the criminal. That's the criminal activity.
What are they going for?
They won't even sell it to the refining guys.
What is it?
I said they won't even sell it to the refining guys. They only let you guys in.
Well, at $90 oil, they don't need the refining guys in there, right? That's where deals happen.
Yeah, we're shutting shit down. We're not really starting stuff up. You're right about that.
They actually.
You guys are shutting down right now? Your refinery capacity?
No, I'm just saying the capacity has still been shutting down. I mean, when you look at Alliance over there in Louisiana and some of the other ones, I mean, we're going to probably rationalize another refinery or two probably in the Gulf Coast. I can see that in the next year or so, even with these prices, because there's just been a lot of deferred maintenance, guys.
You're talking about long-term type stuff, not because of like COVID and short-term type shutdowns.
Yeah, not. I'm saying there's still some to rationalize, but a lot of it's because of poor maintenance. I mean, we pushed a lot of maintenance off, and I'm sure y'all been seeing some of the shit in the news. I mean, we're tearing some shit up on the Gulf Coast right now. You know, whether it's Exxon here in Baytown or over there in Westlake, you know, we're doing stupid shit, and when you tear stuff up, it really leads you to rationalization.
Yeah.
So whether it's a chemical plant or a refinery, we're tearing
there was
some
that huge environmental
up.
disaster with that storage tank spill last year that everybody was all up in arms about. That was inside containment and everything, but they
you mean the marathon over here in Texas City?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was crude oil. That's all it was.
That's poor maintenance, and everybody was laughing about. Yeah, that grass is gonna be greener than ever in a year.
Yeah.
You've never seen vegetation like what you're gonna see growing there after that.
Tell that to the unicorn, dude.
Yeah.
Tell that to the fucking unicorn.
What I don't understand is everybody's all high on organic fucking lettuce and spinach and stuff. Oil is like
concentrated
fucking aged organic. It's like an aged ribeye, right? Like it's the primo of aged organic material. Like, come on, let's get behind that.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't be drinking oil straight, you know?
That's true. That's true.
Don't some people consume mineral oil, like if you're constipated?
That's it.
That was a thing back in the day, like for sure.
I mean,
well, I think it was castor oil, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a hydrocarbon from the ground, right?
Castor oil?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's like a
bean oil. That's a bean oil, isn't it?
Extract.
Bean oil.
Castor oil.
It must be a field that we don't know about, an old field to drill. We need to check it out. Check the maps.
Is it called castor?
Yeah. Castor beans.
No, but that's... I tell you though, guys, that's one of the worst parts about the industry right now is that we've done a really piss poor job in being our best cheerleader. And one of the things I was looking at was the EPA maps here on the Gulf Coast. And I would ask anybody to go look at it and be amazed that refineries whose permits have come up in the last decade or so, they're under more stringent regulations than the chemical plants. And when you look at the chemical plants, they are actually the largest offenders now of environmental emissions. And so when I was looking at that map, I was astonished to see that the refineries were much lower in emissions than the smaller chemical plants. So they've got a reckoning coming in the older chemical plants that were built secondary to the refineries, obviously, that were initially constructed here on the Gulf Coast. So I don't know what they're going to do to some of these chemical sites. And if they rationalize them, they're really going to rationalize the refinery that's connected and feeding them. So that's why I say I think there's some more pain ahead here. That's just my opinion.
Hey,
So even higher oil
Layman
prices.
Life, are you going to the this right here?
I don't think that I'm on the list for that one.
You didn't get invited.
I can't see it. What is it? Who is that? Is that the Jacob Digital Wildcatters one?
Layman Life didn't get a ticket to the.
I have to buy a ticket. I got a free ticket to Bombers. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I probably got an invite to Landman Lives if I show up. I know the secret now. Just walk in. I don't even need a badge.
We don't charge people to come to our parties.
You come for free.
Pretty fucking crazy concept, right? We actually have parties.
But do you have pizza? Do you have pizza? I mean,
no.
No Little Caesars. What the fuck?
We'll have some really classy charcuterie and old fashions.
Take it.
Hey, by the way, at Bomber's party, even though I'm probably not invited anymore, but I did offer to pay for the first round of everybody that went. Just FYI.
Oh, you'll get in. I'll make sure you slip in to at least get that round paid for.
I bought a couple of bottles of tequila at the deal last year, and they've got some interesting pricing at that place. So good luck with that first round.
Was it pretty high? Was it hefty?
It wasn't cheap.
Well, Jen tried to get me to do an auction item, and I was like, I don't have anything that anybody wants. Like, nobody wants to go to dinner with me. Nobody wants to play golf with me. I'm a terrible golfer. I was like,
well, apparently somebody wanted to go to dinner with GW, so
which is odd.
Yeah.
Hey, but also, how awesome is that Prexan Baroness bought that round of golf with Kitty and KP?
That is hilarious.
That is fucking amazing, right?
That's beautiful.
I actually think Baroness is probably pretty cool. Stogner,
not so much.
Probably not so much.
Well, but I do think that would be pretty hilarious if Bomber ended up being Baroness's partner for that round of golf. I mean, the shit talking alone would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like how Colin got on there. It's like, everybody owes an apology. It's like, shut up. Shut up, dude. Like,
ew.
I mean, the only point that I made all along, which I'm still right, by the way, is that you probably didn't contaminate any groundwater. Guess what? If it's blowing out of the fucking ground 150 feet in the air, you got good surface casing.
It's not going.
It's not going into the goddamn water table. Like there's a fact.
Well, but they say there's no casing. So how did it get to the surface? It was just a hole in the ground.
I mean, it's
like you go dig a hole with a shovel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I don't know.
By without.
Well, you pressured up the zone, and clearly you didn't pressure up the water table because otherwise you'd have fucking salt water blowing out of the ground everywhere.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty simple hydraulics.
Why can't they just harvest the salt off of that? Just leave it like
that's what I said. I said we need to start the fucking Antina Ranch salt company, and we'll dye it pink and sell it to fucking hipsters for $10 a pound.
All natural.
All natural, dude.
Organic. From the earth.
Organic.
There it is. From the fucking heart of the earth. Fuck.
Brine water, salt.
Yeah, all that pink salt Himalayan is actually from Pakistan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a huge salt mines in Pakistan.
Yeah, I figured that out. My wife gave me a salt block for like cooking on it or whatever, which was all the rage a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it was a Himalayan salt block, and it had a made in Pakistan sticker on it. And I was like, okay, well,
the
whatever.
Himalayas are in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Clear here.
To be honest.
Like Mount Everest is in Pakistan, right? Or I think
that explains why so many people die.
I think you land in Pakistan and walk to maybe you no, it's in Pakistan. Mount Everest is in Pakistan, I think.
If you had a staff geologist, you'd have answers to stuff like this.
I don't think that's geology. I think that's geography.
Yeah.
Close.
I'm not good at
people
either
know the
one,
difference,
by the
though?
way. I think we need to get Hot Dog Oil on here talking about Everest. He's been training to go climb Everest.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. He had to give up drinking for like 3 days.
Me and Scooter have too, actually. Funny enough.
Gave up drinking for 3 days.
Yes.
No, we're going to hike Everest.
I can't remember which one we're trying to do here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do the 14. Or what? How many continents are there?
We're going to get all the peaks.
We're gonna hit the peaks on every continent. Yeah, the highest. It's like the tallest one, or what is it? I watched a show the other day, or no, there's like a guy that like walked across Antarctica. Did you see that guy?
Mm-mm.
He walked from like shore to shore, like the longest point A to B across Antarctica.
Wow.
But he also did like the highest peaks on every continent in like it was like 32 days or something
Stupid,
stupid.
yeah.
You know, just a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Just a
Fuck that
absolute
guy.
psychopath.
Why?
I don't know.
Why run a marathon? Why do any of that stuff? It's terrible.
WTX, you run any marathons?
Negative.
No, sir.
No, hadn't even considered it.
Do you live in WTX?
Yeah, I live right outside of Monahans.
My hands.
Is that a tree? So you don't live by no trees then?
Yeah.
I think it's a cottonwood. I
Okay.
got a bunch of trees. My water bill is enormous.
No trees, Texas. Apache has a yard there.
You know why they call it no trees?
Yeah.
Because there ain't no fucking trees there.
Yeah.
I got a buddy that went to Ole Miss and caught some guys from Mississippi State trying to steal some of their trees one time
What?
out in the Grove, and caused quite a big scene. But you know, as far as Texas goes, I don't think that tree theft is really a thing.
Yeah, that's really strange.
Yeah, and I guess at Mississippi State, no trees.
Well, that was Ole Miss. You're talking about where they poisoned the trees on the main like courtyard area.
I
or
thought
whatever?
that was Auburn that did that.
It was
Somebody
one of those
poisoned
SEC
them.
schools.
Yeah.
They poisoned like all the old
Yeah.
trees, and then I
That
think
was Auburn.
didn't they catch him? And it was like, well, that was like millions of dollars
It
of
was
damage.
it was the
So
Auburn
like,
people, I believe.
dude, we caught a guy broke into our yard
Yeah.
2 days ago. Scott's dad chased him down.
Yeah.
Fucking tackled him. 16-year-old kid.
It's basically being blamed for like 90% of all catalytic converter thefts in Osage County. But because of the McGirt case, it's kind of a hairy deal.
Osage, baby.
So he's a Indian.
Correct.
Yeah. So the cops were like, yeah, we can't arrest him.
Yeah.
Like we keep catching the dude. We just have to let him go.
Did y'all ask Hefner the Fifth what he thought about that situation? Has he weighed in?
No.
I'm sure he got an opinion.
Yeah.
Are you all blocked from him?
No.
He
Robert likes
blocked
me.
I never.
BRV blocked the world.
He would never block me. He
Are
likes
you
me.
a W2 guy or something? W2? Is that why he blocked you? Or?
Actually, I'm actually a 1099.
Okay, well that
I started my own LLC at the end of November, Leesburg Exploration. Let me know if you want to be a early investor.
Okay.
You got some prospects, dude?
I'm working on it. I have a contract with this one guy in Sipes where he gave me a bunch of seismic and data, and he's kind of mentoring me. And if I put something together, he'll get the lease and get the operator. And
How many IPAs for a point?
how many IPAs? I'm not an IPA guy. I just was drinking stouts. I mean,
You're a stout guy.
yeah.
How many stouts for a point?
How many stouts? No, a lot of the time it's about 10 grand triple incomplete per point.
Like it went from like semi-innocent girls
that's kinda
just, like,
standard.
wearing scanty clothes to like straight up just, like booty
I'm just
dancing.
targeting Frio stuff.
He's got me. He figured me out pretty quick. The algorithm figured me out. Knows what I want.
Cool.
Instagram algorithm.
What's happening with the McGirt case? Like there has to be a lot of legal fallout at state, municipal, county level.
Yeah, I think local law enforcement's pretty frustrated because, like, even traffic tickets, people will pull the bullshit like, well, I'm on sovereign ground and I'm an Indian. You don't have jurisdiction, you can't do anything. But I think it's before the Supreme Court on what to do now at this point.
Well, yeah, the state of Oklahoma sued the Supreme Court or whoever, some jurisdictional body, to get it overturned now. But what's happened in some areas, like in southern Oklahoma, the Indian tribes have started deputizing all the police officers, basically making them Indian cops too. And so they'll basically, the problem is if they catch somebody and they charge them with a crime, then they still have to run them through Indian court, and they don't want to do that either. So I think like the next step is they're going to like literally deputize all the police officers to make them Indian cops, and then they're going to make all the courts jurisdictionally like Indian courts also. And so like it's going to turn into where basically the county or the sheriff or the city or whichever is going to just put them straight into the normal court system. And then I wouldn't even be shocked if the Indian courts just copy and paste like the county.
Well, that's the thing. They have nothing in place. They know people. They have nothing in place.
Well, they don't want to take it on. Like, why would they say like, oh yeah, we want to like have the burden of having our own police force, our own court system, our own laws, our own jurisdictional area.
They just want
like,
casinos that print money. They don't want expense.
Why would you want that? Who the fuck is going to be like, oh yeah, I want my own cops and my own court system and create my own legislator and make fucking laws? Like nobody wants to do that.
Rich people would want that, honestly.
Well, that's the workaround that a lot of people have done, and I actually think there's probably a really good opportunity there. Like one of my plans in life, which I'm never going to do, but I talk about, is that like, well, I was born in Tulsa, which is Cherokee Nation, and I'm like, I'm going to sue to become a Cherokee, because what other territory in the entire world can you be born there and not be counted as a citizen?
Not be a citizen.
And so I don't want to like make precedent for like other people to be able to join in. I just want it to happen for myself. I just want to like create such a fucking stink that the Cherokees are like, God damn, just give them
here's your card,
citizenship, just to shut this fucking asshole up, because he won't go away. And then as soon as they do that, I'm not going to abide by any state law. I'm going to start a liquor distributor. I'm going to fucking start a tobacco factory.
Casino.
I'm going to have a casino in my back fucking yard. I'm going to build a cell tower in the middle of the fucking
Cherokee
city.
BRV is like the end of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It's fucking game over.
Downfall.
It's game over.
No laws.
It is peak Oklahoma for sure.
This sounds like Biff's, like in Back to the Future, like Biff's casino kind of place.
Oh yeah, where you just own it. Everybody's poor as fuck, and then there's BRV's Cherokee Casino. Please come on.
Everybody's mom works for me.
What I was going at, or like what I'm curious about is like, what authority does the Corporation Commission have? Are their leases valid? Like, because I think the Indians have said, at least when I read the Daily Oklahoman, was there are no title issues, right? Like whoever owns property, real property, owns it, right? The title is pretty clear from like, because it started, anything that's in these Indian nations, in these tribal nations, started as tribal property, right? And it just, in the title worked pretty cleanly, no matter who was administering the title, whether it was the state or the tribe or whoever, the county or whoever does that, right?
Well, the problem I think you're going to find in, like, this is just my guess, I'm not a legal expert by any means, but they had what you're referencing, right? Allotment, right? So like in Osage County, they had an allotment, which meant they had the reservation, and the reservation was a reservation. And then the Osage, just like we were talking about earlier, were like, well, fuck this. Like, we have to manage all this shit, this territory, whatever. We're just going to give every head right a quarter section of land. So probably randomly, like assigned a quarter section of land to every single head right. Said, that's yours. Do whatever you want with it. You have the right to sell it, right? And so then they turned around and sold it. And now, the white man owns all the fucking Indian territory in Osage County, which they're not happy about, which I get it. But I think, what they could say is that, the process of like documenting, assigning like courthouse, like blah, 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 county courthouse, etc., like
doesn't
that
hold
wasn't
up.
a proper jurisdictional place
Right.
to put it, right?
They
like
didn't have the power to do that.
they didn't have the
Yeah.
power. And like I think like I've heard people say, and I don't know if this is true, but like that okay, well it was sold, but you couldn't sell it even though it got allotted. The allotment wasn't actually legal. And so all you can do, like with just the exact way you do with federal land, like you can only have like a 99-year lease. And so that after 99 years, that sale wasn't legitimate and it has to revert back to the Native Americans and that's their land again. Like, I don't know. I mean, I have no clue. I just hear all this bullshit. But
And I don't think they want to do that. I know a guy who works closely with the chiefs as a medical guy. So he asked him, like, what's the deal with all this? And basically the chief said that what they want, obviously, is just money. So their thought is if they make all these areas that aren't really sovereign nations, but they make them that, then all the revenue from the sales tax or the oil and gas tax, or whatever, goes to them instead of the state. Like even in Osage, we pay state taxes, but in their mind, they should be owed that because it's theirs.
Yeah.
So that's, you fuck with our casinos, that's fine. We're going to fuck with what taxes
Sure.
you get. And that's,
I mean,
that's their
do that, but
stance.
then you're not going to have any of the fucking benefit of it. You're going to have to pay for your own goddamn roads.
Well,
You're
yeah.
going to pay for your own court system. You're going to pay for your own schools.
Right.
And that's going to be the fucking problem.
And then all the money you got for it goes, yeah.
I mean, that's it. And I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong in the situation. It's just, do you really want the responsibility and the liability of all of the shit that comes along with managing an entire population of people and over a large area and all the bullshit that comes with it? I mean, you've got to tell these people that we're giving you something better than the United States is right now, which is welfare, Social Security, fucking healthcare, like school, education, like all that shit. You got to have it all.
You're a country.
Health, you got to have it all.
Yeah.
The United States government still supersedes the tribal government, right? It's the tribal with what they're saying or what they're arguing is the tribal government is equal to or like peer level of the state.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So federal law trumps all court, all like Indian court, doesn't matter. Like everybody within the borders of the United States has to comply with federal law. But like
right, because of Chief Brandon.
Yeah, but like hypothetically, if you are an Indian on an Indian sovereign land, then you don't have to comply with county, city, or state regs. So that's like if you ever watched that Netflix series about the payday lenders, right? Like what did they do? Like all usury laws are fucking state, not federal. And so they realized that they gave 1% of their payday lending business to a Native American tribe in Miami, Oklahoma, actually.
Yep.
It said, you're officially in charge. It's officially an Indian business. However, we're make all decisions and all 99% of the money is ours. And then by doing that, they successfully sidestepped all state regulation. And so they went out and lent money at 90% interest rate.
Yeah.
And, that's how the entire payday lending scam out of Kansas City went down. And,
that guy had fucking.
And that's what I'm going to get
race
into
cars.
once I'm a Cherokee.
He had fucking
I'm gonna have
legit race cars at his house.
I'm going to have my fucking payday lending.
It's sick.
It's going to be BRV's fucking payday lending.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. We're going to lend. I'm going to cut him a break. I'm going to lend at 70%.
You're going to cut him down.
Yeah.
It's Cushing.
I don't know. 69%.
69.
Yeah. That's a good number.
Is Cushing within a tribal nation?
420.
Cushing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like 45 minutes west of here.
Pretty much the whole state's got some.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of pickup and delivery in high school. With my summer job, I did pickup and delivery. Like I drove a truck for a manufacturer, and like we always had shit to pick up. But I went to Cushing all the fucking time. That was one of the places that I went like regularly. There was a dude there at a place called. I was like, God damn. Anyways, the dude was fucking hilarious. He had this he built blocks for the exploration vibrators, right? Seismic vibrators. And he was one of the few guys that could actually handle like a 50,000 pound fucking block of steel and drill holes and do all the bullshit that needed to happen, machine it. And that dude, like, he thought it was like the funniest thing on earth. Like I had this, whatever truck, pickup delivery truck. But he'd fucking love to just like drop shit onto the back of the truck and make it just like boom, boom. He just thought it was the funniest thing. And he'd like, we're gonna make this puppy squat. That's what he'd always say. It's like, we're gonna make that puppy squat. Let's see if she wants to squat. Then he'd like drop it on and be like, woo! Squat, you son of a bitch.
That's how people in Oklahoma have fun. Just
that's
FYI.
it. Yeah. We load trucks up, overload them, and
get
excited.
Make a laugh out of it. So have they shut down all water injection in the Midland Basin? Is that what's happening? Have they done shit to it? Nothing. Okay.
I'm not familiar with that SRA, but they have trimmed back some, or like around Gardendale, Odessa, north of Midland a little bit, but it's I don't know. I don't know if they've completely shut a single one down. Maybe they have. There's probably somebody much more in tune with that than me. The hot zone right now is the Culberson North Reeves SRA, and it seems to be more active than that Gardendale SRA, which is seismic response area or action or something like that. I think is what that stands for. But since there's nobody that lives there, like there's not even very many cows that live there.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Nobody really
I
gives a
used to work the stuff right in Gardendale for Florida Lee Energy. They had a lease like in the town of Gardendale, all through the houses, and all that water went to a commercial disposal. So I was wondering if they shut any of that down.
Yeah, and you know, the hot thing to say right now is like, hey, we need to find something creative to do with the water that doesn't inject it. Like, that's fine, but you're not getting it done for fucking 50 cents a barrel.
Yeah. You can dispose of it a lot cheaper than some other weird evaporation idea or something.
Right.
Mm.
Right. And evaporation's cool. But I don't know that gets it done either. Like, you can only evaporate so much. So like the atmosphere can only absorb, like in a local area, can only absorb so much water at so fast, right?
So you're saying that Midland one day could be like a tropical forest if we keep doing this?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's it. I love that idea. Make Midland green with oil and gas. Like, look at that. Look at that fucking idea.
I don't know why Scotty's fucking around drilling these wells in the Gulf Coast Basin when he could be taking all his prospects and making evaporation ponds and turning Midland into an oasis.
I've seen a guy do it with like frack pits. That was like their business model. They basically chemically treat it and then evaporate it and close the pits. It was kind of nifty. Wasn't produced water, but you know, if you could make Midland a tropical forest, you'd be a rich motherfucker.
And I saw in Sabine Parish, there was some drilling, some reserve pits that Chesapeake had, and I have no idea how many barrels is in those, several thousand. But they had a turbine out there, like taking gas from the well, and taking the water and injecting it into the exhaust of the turbine somehow, and vaporizing it that way, instead of getting trucks to haul it off.
That's nifty. That's nifty.
Yeah, seemed like it was Lab OK. Seemed like that was the lease.
Could we just pipe it to the ocean and dispose of it that way? Could we?
That's what they do offshore, right?
Yeah, I mean, they just pump the shit in the water, and it's fucking whatever. Why couldn't we do that? It
might raise the sea level too much.
Yeah, sea level would come up.
Some oceanfront property in Arizona issue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or could you desalinate it and just discharge it into a river?
Could.
Still gets to the ocean.
I mean,
let's start a SPAC that takes brine water and makes it into something you can burn in a combustion engine, and we'll be rich. Let's do that.
You can put it through hydrolysis and make hydrogen. Then take
distill it and inject the distilled water into a freshwater zone in the sandhills, right?
Or California.
Or we take it, we send it to Pakistan, dye it pink, and sell it back to Americans for fucking $5 a pound.
That'll work.
That's
when they after the whiskey comes out of the barrel, you normally cut it with water, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll cut it with disposed water.
Yeah.
And it'll be oil man's whiskey.
That's
it. Yeah, hell yeah. Dude.
Maybe that's why Texas bourbon tastes so shitty.
Dude, it was funny actually. We were talking about this because the other day I was looking. I just always like watch for like land for sale. There was like this famous murder case that happened. I think they're actually making a movie about it in Eastern Oklahoma at that like all girls camp. Have you heard about this?
No.
It's like a bunch of young girls like go to this like a camp, like summer camp,
Okay.
and some murderer came and killed like 3 or 4
Oh,
like
shit.
preteen age girls, right?
Right.
Well, that land that the camp was on was for sale,
Okay.
and they were showing all the pictures of that land, and that not only that, but they found like an old fucking bootleggers distillery, like a couple, whatever, a few thousand feet away from the old campsite. There's like these old vats
Copper
and
pots
fucking
and shit,
pots
yeah.
where they had like the old bootleggers distillery. I was like, man, like talk about a fucking marketing dream. Like you got like this fucking famous murder case. You got this like 100-year-old
Distillery.
fucking distillery that's you could like rebuild, make fucking whiskey out of.
And people would come.
Oh, it'd be so fun. I would go. I
Yeah.
was like, that's fucking cool.
Drink
Like
whiskey out of
that's
that.
fucking badass,
Oh, yeah.
actually. Anyways.
He's back. Do you go inside to piss? Is that why you leave Landman Life or what? I mean, you're outside. Just turn around and take a piss.
We're all been here.
No.
Just let it happen.
Let it roll, big dog.
Yeah, let's see it.
I was not going inside. I was walking to the corner of the barn, and I did go take a piss. You're
There
correct.
you
The second thing that I was doing was packing some stuff up because I'm literally sitting in the bed of my pickup truck right now.
Okay.
And I also changed my jacket situation.
As a barn, you're steel or pole barn? I'm getting ready to build one, and I can't decide which direction I want to go. I think I'm gonna go pole barn.
Really?
Wood. I think I'm gonna go wood. 30 by 40 wood.
Are you gonna move out there?
I might have to.
we got a
Oh,
we
you're
got a nice,
steel.
we got a
God.
nice fucking barn out here, man.
Damn it, son. That's beautiful.
Wait, is that where you live?
I mean, it's the ranch.
It's the ranch.
Who
You got
owns
those.
the ranch?
You ever seen those big ass fans?
Is it
That's
like
what
his
they call
parents'
them.
ranch or is that his ranch?
My in-laws?
Your in-laws' ranch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they live there full time?
No.
It's just a place to go. It's what you do in Texas.
I'm
Like,
literally
you have
just here. I'm here drinking beer, dude.
You have a lake
How far
house
is
in
it from your
Oklahoma?
house?
It is an hour door to door.
That's beautiful. That's like the perfect distance.
And it's fucking 20 minutes from where I work. So
There you go.
where I work currently, I quit my job in November, and I'm still trying to figure out why I'm still working.
How's the kid?
The kid is great. That was the other reason I was packing up the truck. I'm about to have to turn into a pumpkin. We are headed to the hilltop for a sunset. I don't even know what the fuck you call it. Sundowner?
Yeah, what is that? I don't know. what
I
that
don't
is.
know. I'm going to get a lot of bourbon.
There you go.
Sunset watch. That's
Yeah.
romantic.
Something
What-
like that.
What a good husband.
Yeah, I just got the text that everybody's sitting at the house waiting for me to get back so we can go to the hilltop. So
Yeah.
And when y'all get done with that, we've got some firewood.
There we go.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Shit.
All
that
right.
needs stacked.
Is that mesquite? What is that?
No, it's a post oak from
Post
Pushmataha County, Oklahoma.
Oh wow,
Ooh.
that's some smoking wood there. That's what I ought to do this weekend. I ought to smoke something.
Dude,
Smoke
my
a
buddy
fucking-
Jordan's in town. Remember Jordan?
Yeah.
He's around.
Okay.
He just got his second mouth surgery from his fucking
Dip.
Dip.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to fucking hear it.
that son of a bitch has had 2 mouth surgeries.
That's why I'm on
from his
this.
Fucking dip.
That's why I'm on
Dipping
this. This
or
doesn't
fucking-
give you cancer, right? I'm at
I'm glad to see another
Are you
on
doing Zen?
My fucking dream property right here for sale still.
Ooh, cool.
Isn't that badass?
244.
We were supposed to have crawfish
That's
today,
great.
but at the last moment, HEB said that they weren't delivering crawfish to Midland.
Well, you just tell me when you need it. I'll give you the hookup. If you're in Oklahoma, I mean, I'm not going to drive to Midland, but I'll go to Oklahoma City. I'll bring you whatever.
Yeah,
you need.
we're going in April, March.
Okay. Yeah, just give me a little heads up, and I'll hook you up wherever you want.
Yeah, it's easy to get here once HEB gets it. Like it's every weekend we can get it, but
I tell you honestly, I'll DM you a guy that's in Midland that's from South Louisiana that actually we bought the crawfish for the Digital Wildcatters boil. The dude's in Midland. You can buy raw crawfish off of him, live crawfish off of his truck. And he's just got like a food trailer type of deal. I think he sets up kind of by the Walmart. There's like a vape shop or something across the street from the Walmart. And the dude has legit crawfish. I forget the fucking name, but I'll DM you. It's a good place to pick it up.
Check that one out.
Yeah, send it over, man.
Okay. He gets it like weekly fresh from
Painted
Southwest.
white, but the pink isn't cool, but
Perfect.
So legit.
it's pretty badass.
Yeah, we'll hook you up. Make sure you're set. We probably should do since Digital Wildcatter is kind of what it is. We should do our own little crawfish bowl. Where do you want? You want to do it, Tulsa?
Sure.
Thackerville.
We'll just do the Thackerville crawfish bowl. How's that sound? Let's
That would
fucking
be
do
fun,
it.
actually.
That'd be cool. We'll cook the shit out of them.
This one's fucking funny. Check this out.
Well,
It'll make you fucking either love it or hate it.
I think we had a good time, guys, and
Yep.
RV and Bender. Thanks for hopping back on, and 90s Cheeseburg WTX.
And I was glad to talk to BRV. I always get smarter after I talk to BRV.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the way life works, right?
Landman life works.
Mrs. Buddy Stewart Wade's here, so yeah, probably a good time to
She
end
brought a
it.
child.
Probably a good time to shut her down.
All right, guys.
All right.
Everybody have a good one.
All right,
Good talk too. Great weekend, guys.
you too. See ya.